You know what? Today I'm just gonna do Hardpoint straight out. I'm gonna play a little bit of the other maps a little bit more, at least a couple days before Shipment comes out, because I'm definitely not touching them after. The new Shipment won't have crate climb. That's actually a good change. I think most people are actually seeing that as a positive more than a negative. I promise you, man, the map plays so much better when you don't have people climbing all over the place and running around the sides of the map and everything. Like, it's really cool, right? It feels really nice to be able to do it and actually get around the map, you know, when people are holding on angles and stuff like that. It's nice to be able to actually go around it like that. But I was done with all the marksman rifles. I always just like, I always say I'm gonna play it out, and then once I'm done making my video and I put it up and shit, I just get distracted or I start playing something else. Like, I randomly started another Fist playthrough on Elden Ring. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. I joined this game late and everything, but the fact that the highest amount of kills in the game is 23 is the exact reason why I'm trying to play as many small maps as possible. People are looking at me like I'm crazy, but this is just like watching somebody literally just trying to do their task faster. There's nothing crazy about it. Oh, I also think I may have found a fix for the crashing. I don't want to say too much too quickly. Obviously it can still crash, but I'm pretty sure I found one thing that seems to work. At least it increases stability a ton. I am on that most stable driver, and it did seem to help a little bit, but it definitely still had crashing issues even while on that. I want to make sure that it's stable before I say anything, because I keep getting too ahead of myself, and I just never know if it's the change that I did that actually made it fix itself, or is it a thing where just, you know, I uninstall and reinstall, because I've tried so many different drivers. I tried different launchers. Whenever I've expressed this stuff on Twitter, there's always the people that are kind of like, well, no, not me, I'm fine, I'm good. Well, that's good for you. This ain't about you. It's for the people that are actually having issues. No one fucking asked. That's amazing. As soon as I took the laser off of my gun, I think I'm done running lasers for the most part. This game with Shipment, plus the fact that we actually can't climb on top of shit with these spawns. I mean, I know that Modern Warfare 2019 Shipment spawns were really, really bad. They had to make adjustments, and then they had to decrease the player count and all sorts of stuff. I don't know, like, size-wise, it seems like it, I'm gonna assume it's not gonna be much bigger or smaller, but scale-wise, Shipment definitely has changed in size sometimes. It's actually the only redeeming quality on these marksman rifles, the one-tap headshots. The only redeeming quality on them. I cannot stand using these things. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. I knew I spoke too soon, man. It's crazy. This shit was running completely fine on hours yesterday, man. All right, Shipment map intel. So they just released this blog post here. Okay. A little chaos is good for the soul, not to mention the beauty of XP gains on a tiny map like Shipment. In this iteration of the fan favorite classic, the scene of battle moves to the high seas, face each other among stacked containers and crates filled with cash and illicit goods. So this looks like it has the same setup as the original. It is slightly off though with how some of the crates are positioned and like how well you can actually sit behind them. For example, Shipment almost always has like those vehicles that are insanely strong head glitches. If they're now just like these little crates, even though I'm not going to be able to get it and I don't necessarily know which direction I'm looking at the map from, we can see that the containers are actually shifted, so you can have people wedged in the middle and on the side, just like you know, the original COD 4 Shipment. Vanguard Shipment also had the same thing. You can wall bang a lot easier with this kind of setup. Now, obviously, they could just make this not wall bangable. You know, they get rid of all the fun stuff. But the setup, I prefer this way, and I also love the fact that they're saying no verticality at all. Adding verticality to these maps completely destroys the logic of the map just because it's so small. If I could go and hop up on any of these crates, or for example, in Modern Warfare 2019, I could sit in this crate, the only way that this player isn't absolutely just destroying the spawns by either looking out either direction of that container, depending on game mode, is the fact that they're now in an enclosed space and the game thinks that, oh, okay, if I spawn them even right next to this guy, he can't see them. And that's just how the game's spawn logic works. It'll result in you spawning in places that seem safe to the game's logic but isn't actually safe. So the verticality on this map is just, it's terrible. Happy it's gone. Shipment consists of 4 named areas: bridge size, center, drug stash, and container stack. I never actually made a call out on this map in my life, I think, other than saying that somebody is hiding inside of one of the containers. Got like a trophy system with a riot shield or some shit. Because now I just want them to die. They're explaining the sides and the center of Shipment. It's a square, man. We move on. Constantly eliminated? Don't worry. So is everyone on the map. On the map this small, it's gonna happen. With some patience and perseverance, the tide will often turn so that you're the one doing the eliminating. This is what I tell people all the time. It doesn't matter if I die 100 times. If I died 100 times, I've got 200 kills. Veteran tactics. Play the objective. Yes, even you Call of Duty veterans need the occasional reminder. On Shipment, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of battle, especially when you're slaying. The highest kill count won't impress your teammates. However, if you've got a measly objective score and end up losing the match. On Shipment, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of battle, especially when you're slaying out. The highest kill count won't impress your teammates. Says who? Yeah, Will. Are you dumb? Highest kill count won't impress your teammates, however, if you've got a measly objective score and end up losing the match. I could almost guarantee at the end of every single match, anyone that is talking about the win likely also got their ass beat and they did everything in their power to win the game because they couldn't go positive. The win is secondary to my actual performance and to be judged by who. They won't have to play with me anyway, right? Because the lobby's gonna get shifted around anyway. Skill-based matchmaking is gonna do its thing, so you'll be good. Throwing drill charges in the containers, yep, that's what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I thought of. As soon as I saw the drill charge in this game, I immediately thought in my mind, okay, I can definitely get people out of that annoying ass room in shoot house, which it works very, very well. It still puts pressure on them, and it's also very, very loud. So with people sitting inside of these containers, like for example, this character that's standing right here, there's likely this container is open and we're at the part of the map that I think we are. And you could just drill straight through this if somebody's sitting there with that little barrel inside there and everything. If you want to win the game, just throw your body on the objective. That's what everyone does. Domination, search and destroy. I'm not playing search and destroy at all, let alone on this map. Hard point, yep, that's one that we're going to be looking for. Whenever I'm sitting there playing whatever shipment mode that they have, it's a whole different game in modes like search and destroy where there are no respawns, though it's a more tactical, slower pace affair. Tactical, you're just waiting and listening. Still helps to be fast off the break, as even the slightest hesitation can leave you exposed to better prepared operators. Are they saying that in the shipment playlist we're gonna have to like cycle through search and destroy? I'm not playing search and destroy. Objective, routes, and rotation. And then they start naming all these objective game modes: domination, search, and hardpoint. It could just be a rundown on the map itself and not the actual playlist, but the playlist itself I really hope does not have search and destroy in. It needs to be strictly domination, or even better, strictly hardpoint. I'm trying to farm. I'm hoping that in this game, you know, you can do like 100+ consistently. Eventually we'll find, you know, like all the best kill streaks and most obnoxious shit to run on the map, and that's pretty much all for the blog post. Like over on Shipment before, everyone knows dropping white phosphorus is super, super annoying. Vanguard dropping this super OP and broken mortar strike thing just like dead center of the map, and it'll damage people standing near it, as well as dropping airstrikes for like a minute straight. There are a lot of people that are very, very active against a lot of kill streaks, I've noticed. Some lobbies they aren't, but I noticed that a lot of lobbies they are. I also think you're trolling if you're not running score streaks. It's so free. People will find something that's super broke. So that USC event, crazy. Ilya Taporia ended up winning. I actually got a decent amount of my picks right that time, except the main event. I mean, who's gonna predict a tie, seriously? It goes from two people that were either just lost the belt or never fought for the belt before, fighting for the belt. Dana White, I guess, didn't like the fight. I didn't think it was a bad fight by any means, but it seemed like he was mad at Ankalaev for like not putting Blachowicz away or for some shit. I don't know, he's just mad about it. That fight ended up in a majority draw, which is like the worst case scenario, so neither of them ended up getting the belt after it already being like a weird matchup that was like a replacement already. But I was thinking in my head, if there was ever gonna be like a free-to-play Call of Duty, do you think it would be more or less likely that Call of Duty multiplayer could go free to play if Call of Duty multiplayer ends up becoming like the main thing? I always wondered how things would have went if they had just done it the other way around, where it was free to play multiplayer, because that's how everybody treats it, by the way. People treat multiplayer like it's free to play, and they'll play it like it's just a free to play part of the game, and then the real game is Warzone. Some people are like, I don't want free this, I don't want free that. But to be honest with you, man, I'm having a hard time feeling like, yeah, paying for the game is definitely the way to go. They're talking about microtransactions and all this other stuff, but like, here's the thing. It's not that being free is the problem. It's that you know and expect the company to do shitty things with the free-to-play model. We have been so hit in the brain to know and be trained to know that making it free results in the company making money in other excruciating ways. For some reason, people are failing to see, like, shouldn't we be mad at the company for that then? Yeah, anyway, Chris Curtis ends up KOing Joaquin Buckley. I said that I thought Joaquin would win. Emphasize, if he wrestles. He did not wrestle. Min Shabazian ended up winning. I picked Edmund. I picked Rosenstreich as well over Dawkins. Raul Rosas Jr. looked great. He also won. I picked Ilya Taporia. He beat Bryce Mitchell. I wanted Darren Till to win, but said that it was not that great of a matchup fighting Dricus Duplessis. Dricus ended up winning that fight. I also picked Ponzinibbio, I think, over Alex Morono. I assumed that Paddy Pimblett was gonna win his fight over Jared Gordon, but I said that Jared Gordon is actually pretty good, and too many people are like disrespecting Jared Gordon, and it's a way closer fight than what it says. It says that Paddy Pimblett won, but if you watch that fight back, man, I don't know. Even just like basing it on the actual rules and stuff, damage and all that other shit, unless we're counting someone that like bruises easier than someone else as evidence of quote damage, you can go back and break it down yourself. I don't think Paddy won that fight. He got the win, and he's gonna move on anyway, so it is what what it is. He can move on from this. It'll be fine. Hopefully, you know, he'll have things a bit more figured out with his next fight. Jan Blachowicz versus Ankalaev was just like, it was already a weird thing to have for the belt, and then the draw, and now Dana White doesn't want to do it, and Dana was like mad at Ankalaev and kind of implying that Ankalaev is boring and that he just wanted to lay and pray him. He's gonna say that he didn't say that, but that's only because he's literally removing the nuance out of it. So instead, they're setting up another title fight. Literally on that night, Dana made another fight. It's now Glover Teixeira, who originally fought Yuri Prochazka, and then they were supposed to have the rematch, and then Yuri got hurt. So Glover is back in. That's what everyone assumed in the first place. He was supposed to be in there fighting for the title. And looking at everybody else that's available, the only person that's available at this point that seems like they would make sense to at least kind of fight for a belt would be Jamal Hill. So it's what, number 1 ranked Glover Teixeira? I think he's number 1 ranked versus rank 6 or 7 Jamal Hill. A lot of people are feeling like Jamal Hill, you know, doesn't deserve it and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, if he goes and wins this belt off of this shit, he gets to say that he was a champion. And I think people will actually favor Jamal in this just because of like youth and speed and how dangerous he is on the feet and stuff. But the only loss that Jamal has is by submission to Paul Craig. He got his arm broken like completely. Crazy thing about Jamal Hill that he just like sat there and just like looked at his floppy ass arm. It was just like bullshit. Jamal Hill seems like one of the coolest people, dude. I want him to win, personally. Nothing against Glover. Love him. And I would actually love to see Jamal still have the belt by the time Yuri comes back. I would love to see that kind of fight. I don't know if he's going to be able to. I don't know if it's like, if he's going to be able to hold the belt that long. It'd be cool if he did, you know what I mean? But he's got to watch out for all the grappling and shit like that. He knows a lot of people don't want to stand with him. I'm actually kind of hyped for it. People can feel whatever way they want about it, but I'm happy for Jamal. Shipment soon, though.